Good morning and welcome to Thursday, March the 19th. This is your production chapter 8, part 2. And today we're going to talk about some of the studios and some of the connectors and all that fun stuff. First of all, let me tell you who's the boss. The boss is the production director. This is the person that is in charge of the on air recorded material, including copy and the final production. Keep in mind the production director works under, the program director, because the program director is responsible for everything on the air. Okay, two types of studios are at a radio station. It's really difficult: on air, which you know we have, and production studios. Okay, normally these studios are arranged in U shape type formats. So let's talk a little bit more about the studio setup. And you might remember this from the beginning of the year. Of course, the console is the centerpiece of the studio, and on them you have pots, inputs, outputs, cues, VU meters, and buses. Okay. Also inside the studio are microphones, CD players, which we really don't use anymore, kind of computers, the automation system. Ours is called Wide Orbit, and it is the one that is in about 75 to 80% of all radio stations. You have a breakout box, which is basically a distribution hub. It connects the audio card from the computer and the board to various pieces of equipment. Of course, you have headphones, and in some studios, you have mini disc players, processing equipment, which are things like compressors and limiters. You remember our studio, and there it is. Let me make this bigger for you so you could see. There is our on-air studio, and as you can see, you've got your pots, of course. You've got your buses. So let's look a little further at what we have inside this studio. First of all, your linear faders are called pots. Takes the volume up and down. You already know that. You've got your on button and your off buttons. That's your on button, and that is your off button. You got your rotary fader pots, which are not linear. Linear goes up and down, and rotary goes round and round. It's very easy for you to remember. They control the volume. And then you have your monitor source selectors. These are called buses. Here's your on-air bus, the program bus, the audition bus, and the mono bus. These are selectors on what you're going to hear. In this case, this is the monitor source. So the sound that's coming out is determined by which bus you have pulled down. Obviously, this one lit up is the on-air bus, and therefore we are listening to what is going out over the air. So when you're on the air, we are generally listening to the mono bus. Okay? You can assign buttons for these buses. We generally don't mess with that a lot. Your VU meters are how you measure the volume units. VU stands for volume units. Here's a microphone. It is an Electro Voice RE20 windscreen. It is a unidirectional microphone. You will learn what unidirectional means in just a little while. And of course, we've got our monitor speakers in there. In our production studio, we have a very similar type console. You can see the linear faders and then the rotary faders, which are right there. Let's get back to the chapter PowerPoint. Okay, so make sure you know the definition of all those things. We've gone over them before, so just read them and make sure that you understand all of that as far as the production and on-air studio consoles. Remember, the console is the centerpiece of the studio. It's basically all you need. For example, in our production studios, you walk in with your laptop and hook up to our production studio consoles, which are smaller ones. You can operate the console in cue or preview mode. That is when you can privately listen to audio sources without channeling them. And I think that's spelled wrong, is it? It Sure is. Without channeling them through the output. In other words, if you are pushing down on the Q button, it is not going to go out over the air. It is only going to go through your Q speaker. It is a way for you to listen to sound in the board off the air. Okay? And don't worry about where the buses go here at Mix 91. There is some peripheral equipment that is sometimes in studios. Some of them have digital cart audio devices. We have something called Instant Replay. I don't even think I've pulled it out. It's kind of an older technology, but it's basically a push button and plays the sound. We also have the software systems that have replaced the analog tape decks. Ours is audio is Adobe Audition. It lets you produce, mix, and archive a lot of audio. Some people you have still using compact disc players. There are audio processors, samplers, digital carts, and MIDI enhancers. They make radio production a little better. A patch panel is where you can route different sources of sound, okay, very easily. So let's say we had a complicated studio, which by the way, we don't. We only have one source of sound. It goes from computer into the console board and then through the lines, out the transmitter, up the antenna, and out for you to hear. But some studios have to bring in sources from, I don't know, 10 or 12 different locations or 10 or 12 different input sources. For that, they use a patch panel. That is a whole like network of inputs and outputs. By the way, inputs and outputs, very, very simple. An input allows audio energy in, and output allows audio energy out. So these inputs and outputs connect to the audio panel and then out to external sources. They can be analog, like a cassette player or a record player, not that anybody uses them, or digital technologies like CD players or computers, which is what we use, the computers to it. Let's talk about microphones, okay? They're designed with pickup patterns. In other words, a microphone can pick up sound differently depending on the type of microphone. And the pattern that it picks up is going to determine, first of all, the quality of the sound and how much sound it's going to bring in. We're only going to learn about 3 of them right now, even though there are literally dozens of different pickup patterns. You're going to learn that next year in radio too, when we get ready for our certification exam. So the 3 types of microphones that you will be required to know about are omnidirectional, bidirectional, and unidirectional microphones. A omnidirectional microphone picks up sounds from all 360 degrees of that microphone. This is best used when you are trying to say pick up a chorus or pick up doing an interview from all directions with multiple people trying to talk. Omnidirectional, the prefix omni meaning all around. The second type of microphone is the bidirectional microphone. This picks up sound in 2 directions. Okay, so its pickup pattern does not go 360. It goes basically on 2 sides that are opposite of each other and will negate sound from the other 2 directions. This is really good when, say, you're singing a duet or you're doing an interview with one microphone. It is called a bidirectional microphone, 2 directions. And the most expensive, the highest quality, and the kind of microphones we have in both the production studio and the on-air studio are called unidirectional microphones. These pick up sound from only one direction. It basically cancels out the sound from all the other directions. This is really good when you want just one person talking straight onto it. It is a unidirectional microphone. Hey, that is it for Thursday, March the 19th. You have questions to answer 6 through 10. I also wanted to take a minute right now to talk about your other writing assignment for today. That writing assignment, let me see if I can find it. There it is to use any three of the demographics that you used from Tuesday's assignment, which was when you found a different use for a household appliance for those 6 different demographics. Pick three of them and then write me a commercial uh, that is designated, that is straight on for three of those demographics. Each one of these commercials have to feature different um, characteristics of the appliance that appeal only to that demographic. For example, let's just say a shoe rack was your, that's not really an appliance. Let's say the dishwasher was your appliance. Okay, for a male 20, well, that's not good either because a male 22 years old never uses a dishwasher. I don't want to give you an example for the television because that's what most of you used, but think about specifically the characteristics and features on a television that would appeal to these different demographics. I'll just give you one quick example. If you were writing about a male 77, one of the biggest characteristics a television would have to have is increased volume because people that are 77 are a little hard of hearing. Okay? I want you to write 3 separate commercials in official copy form. That is, okay, listen up, that is all caps, double spaced. Sound effects are bolded and underlined. Okay, official copy form. And now, hopefully, you've listened to this video because here is your extra credit. I am going to give you 20 points on any test that you've taken if you simply email me through Schoology with the subject line test 20. Okay? Email me today, Thursday, March 19th, before midnight, and use the subject line test 20. You don't have to write anything in the body at all. Just the subject line test 20. That lets me know that you have listened to this and have responded to it. And I will give you 20 points on your test grades, okay? And if you have, like, say, 3 different tests that are all 90s, I'll spread them out and make each one of them, to a total of 20 points. So email me today, March the 19th, with the subject line test 20 to receive this extra credit. All right, that is your lesson for today. As you may have heard, your little spring break has been extended another 2 weeks. We will not come back to class at least till April the 14th. So that means we will be doing 3 weeks of these lessons. Okay, this was week 1. Next week, week 2, and then the third week, I will not be doing any lessons for you over spring break. Well, there you go. Have a great day, and I'll maybe see you soon.